Yes, welcome to today's webinar hosted by PropAcademy and CTU, which is primarily about the facilities management course as well as the career of a facilities manager. And then I'm very honored to also just welcome our guest speaker, Neo, today. I'm going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself as well. But we are excited to just not only have the session on an informative basis, but to have someone here who's very much a specialist in this field and can give us quite a lot of insightful information on the topic specifically. And then I'm also going to introduce you to Courtney McKenna and Charlotte Nathanson, who are representing PropAcademy specifically. They represent the supportive side, especially if there's anything that comes out of the session that you would like more assistance on, or perhaps would like to take a journey with PropAcademy. These are the ladies you'll be speaking to. But I think to get started, I'm going to give Neo an opportunity to just introduce himself. Short introduction, Neo, if you don't mind, and then as well, I'll move over to the ladies as well before we officially get into the content of our session.
Perfect. Thanks for that. My name is Matheba. I'm one of the facilitators and assessors on the PropAcademy FM program. I've got about 15 years worth of work experience, and I've been very fortunate that I've been able to move around and work for numerous organizations. I've worked for FM organizations, I've worked for corporate. I'm currently a senior manager in the asset management department, but my strongest background is around facilities management. My two highest qualifications, I've got an MBA and an MSc in the built environment, specializing in FM. I'm also an accredited, certified facilities management professional with SAFMA, and a few other international organizations. Yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Courtney, if we can also have an introduction from your side as well.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Courtney from PropAcademy. I have been in the property industry with the FFC since 2008. And I say that because I worked with my mom from about 7 years old in all different aspects. And I'm currently the National Business Development Manager for PropAcademy. And we are here to assist you with making sure that you choose the correct course and that the whole style of the course is suited to your needs. So we're very pro-learner. We fit into your schedule, which is what we love about PropAcademy.
Fantastic. And then Charlotte, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Charlotte Nathanson from PropAcademy. I am a sales representative here, and I've been with PropAcademy since February last year. As Courtney mentioned, we are here to assist you and guide you and to make sure that you are doing the correct course that is suited for you.
Fantastic. So for those who don't know, PropAcademy is a division of the CTU Training Solutions. I'm just here representing CTU as the host and the facilitator, and we are officially going to get started. So Neo, I think we can actually jump right into our specific topic that we are here for, which is our webinar on the facilities management, not just the course, but also the career, which we are going to have a discussion on. All right, so I think we can start specifically with the role clarification of a facilities manager. And primarily, I want to know if you can outline the primary responsibilities of a facilities manager.
Okay, perfect. So I think let's first start with the definition of what FM is, and there's quite a few definitions out in the industry. So there's basically about 3 or 4 big FM organizations globally. You've got the International Facilities Management Association. You've got the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. You've got the Institution of Workplace and Facilities Management, and obviously in South Africa you've got SAFMA, the South African Facilities Management Association. They've got different renditions of what an FM is, but in principle they all talk the same language, and they all talk about integrating people, place, process, and technology. And that's the essence of FM. It's about making sure that those 3 or 4 big elements work together to honestly fulfill and push the organization's strategic objectives forward. A very nice rendition of what FM is I actually made notes. It's from one of the best authors when it comes to FM. That's being based London and relevance. And I quickly want to recite this because it's very important to prime then into the conversation of the responsibilities of FM. They say the range of skills and knowledge required of facilities managers, if they are to be successfully carried out all of these functions, is quite alarming, as it includes everything from computer networking, mechanical engineering to human resource management theory, occupational health and safety legislation, contract negotiation, future financial planning, subcontracting administration, construction management, and the list is endless. The perfect FM may be someone who is a service engineer with majors in project management and law, with great charisma and interpersonal skills, coupled with certificates in accountancy, real estate, an MBA, and not to mention an keen interest in protection of the environment. I mean, that's a mouthful of what an FM is and some of the key critical areas that they look for. So, from in terms of responsibilities, each of these FM organizations has what they would normally call competencies that you need to show to become a competent FM. I'm currently embarking on becoming a chartered facilities management surveyor with the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors, and they've got, if I'm not mistaken, 40 odd competencies that you can choose from. These range from accounting, client care, ethics, health and safety, sustainability, business alignment, asset management, maintenance management, procurement and tendering, workplace strategy, BIM management, big data analytics, change management. I mean, the list is endless. So what does an NFM do? Again, we're going to go back to the definition in relation to people, place, process, and technologies. And the creation of those, FM is not maintenance. Maintenance is just a subset of a lot of things that FMs should be doing or can do. Like I said, with each organization, with each international association, they've got a list of competencies. But also, if you look at the competencies, they're more or less the same. So the range of FM differs from one organization to the other. But I think in South Africa, particular, one of the key competencies and responsibilities will always be around maintenance management, will always be around procurement and tendering, as well as performance management and project management. So, yeah, I think I said a mouthful there. So, yeah, I will pause there.
I think what's clear is that a facilities manager is much more, I think, than what people assume. And but a question that I know pops up quite a lot, and that's because of definitions that are maybe out there online or perceptions, is I want to know what is the main difference between a facilities manager and a managing agent.
Perfect. In principle, there's actually no difference. So I think what's important is to also explain the different FM delivery models. So you get in-house and outsourced facilities management, and depends on which side of the fence you sit on. When you are an outsourced FM, you're more or less an agent to some extent. And within outsourced, you do even get a couple of other different types of outsourced services. One that comes to mind is an integrated FM solution. You also get a managing agent a solution from an FM perspective, where you basically represent your client in terms of FM provision, and then you would then contract the different required services. But you are the middle point between the client and the service provider. So you are, in principle, an agent to a large extent. But also you do get in-house type of FM services where I'm employed by a Brawl or a JHI to manage their own portfolio. And I would then report directly into the business. So yeah, that's the biggest difference. So one is in-house and the other one is more outsourced or contracted out. And in that sense, we will still consider you an agent because you'll have a management or a service agreement with your client.
Fantastic. I think that answer really helped a lot of people with that understanding. Next, we can maybe talk about the impact of a facilities manager. So what I want to understand is, how does a facilities manager significantly impact the, I want to say, operational efficiency and even the sustainability of like a building or a large facility? What is their specific impact if they're involved?
Yeah. So I think let's just talk quickly about the soft and technical services in relation to FM. Those are what people see and touch on a daily basis. And it's very important. Those are, I mean, the only time people will realize there's something wrong is when something breaks. But when everything goes right in any facility, I mean, then you know you've got a very good FM professional there. So it's all about efficiency, making sure things are supposed to be where they are and all operations are functioning correctly. So soft and technical services are given. You also need to consider comfort, your occupancy comfort levels, because that's been directly correlated to performance of staff in those buildings. You get issues such as the sick building syndrome. So if you don't maintain your HVAC systems, if you've got carpets, don't clean them, your building does get and does have, it does happen that the people who occupy the building do get sick, and productivity definitely drops. So there has been a correlation in terms of the efficiency of your building and the productivity of your staff. And obviously, there's also now environmental considerations, and that's why you're seeing a big drive in terms of green buildings and the different green building rating systems. And then all of these all really talk to being a very efficient and value-adding FM service, not only in terms of operations, but those also translate to savings from a cost perspective. Good FM managers understand the cost of their service and where to tag to reduce those costs. So yeah, that's what I would say. That's a significant impact. But I think also just as a closer, after your labor costs in most organizations, so after your salaries, the second, if not the third largest cost will be the cost to operate your facilities. That's a given and it's proven. But the unfortunate part is facilities is a cost center in the sense that it's mostly out based. So I'm going to be spending money to maintain these facilities. So it's very important also to make sure we try and limit the amount of money that we are spending, but also make sure that we run a very efficient process. Big portfolios like I manage, I've got over 30,000 properties under my portfolio. It's a big ask, but one of the things that we are definitely trying to do is look at energy efficiency, as well as and water, and we're trying to really reduce those levers because that accounts for about 30% of our operating costs. So those are the type of things we need to look at. But also you need to look at the comfort levels and making sure that your building is safe and creates a conducive working environment.
Okay, fantastic. Next we can maybe have a chat about the career paths of a facilities manager. And they, from my understanding, there are a variety of career paths, but they specifically relate to a variety of sectors like commercial real estate or even healthcare facilities. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So look, I think from an FM perspective and in general, any career, there's basically three levels you need to consider, right? You'll have your operational, technical, and your strategic levels in most organizations. And what you typically find is the bulk, like in most careers, is the bulk of the staff will sit at an operational level. Now, from an FM perspective, that could be an artisan to a technician, and it all boils down to the different or the type of industry you're in. If you are in more technical industry like data centers and even hotels and hospitals, you'll mostly have artisans and technicians at the lower level. Vis-a-vis if you're in corporate, like you work for a standard bank, where you're mostly responsible for the buildings itself, you might not have to come in with a technical skill per se. But obviously you might need to come in with other complementary skills, such as client care and an understanding of the Health and Safety Act and so forth. So that's a basic in terms of FM. And I think what this course is pitched that is more on the operational and to a large extent on the technical aspect. Now, the technical aspect of FM is where we're talking about managing and operationalizing all the plans and strategies that come from the top. This is where we unpack and implement some of these strategies. And then obviously at the top of the food chain is your strategic level, where you're either a senior manager or an exco at EXCO level where you make decisions in terms of where organizations go. So typically, in my case, I started out as a facilities officer. In some organizations, that's the lowest level from an FM perspective. I made my way up to a facilities manager. I then made my way up into a senior specialist. And now I'm currently a senior. The level above me is of a general manager. And beyond that is obviously then an executive or CEO. So it also depends on which industry you're in. In some industries, you will be limited to more of a technical manager level. But in the industry where I am, I mean, the property industry, I can go all the way up to CEO. So yeah, that's the common career progressions and the levels associated with FM.
Okay, so it seems to have quite a very standard, I don't want to use the word standard, but it's a very set out trajectory that you can follow from junior level to one of the most senior levels, in fact, which is very promising for the advancement that you can see in the specific career path. And I think you did obviously touch on the career progression paths. And it sounds like advancing in this field has a lot of professional benefit, or let's say it straight, career wealth benefit as well, if you do take the path of progressing up to CEO level. Just maybe if you can confirm on that statement.
No, that's definitely true. The advantage of FM is, and again, I always refer back to the definition of integrated people, place, process, and technology. You need to have a good understanding of what makes your organization tick. It forces you to have that understanding, which means then you understand business in general. So you'll understand finances, you'll understand why people are getting sick or are not coming to work. It's part of you trying to improve a process to make sure that your workplace or your portfolio is conducive for employees. And there are cases you can prove, and there's some of the topics that we cover in the program where you can say, based on how I'm managing this particular portfolio or this property, I can prove that it is increasing or it is beneficial to occupants. So it forces you to stretch your mind. You're not only going to concentrate on the technical aspects, you need to also concentrate on client care, how you engage with clients. You also need to concentrate on finances, financial management. I mean, where I'm sitting now in the assets department, I'm looking at financial ratios, I'm looking at business cases, and how do we then improve a particular asset to get the best out of it. So you get an overall understanding of your business, and that's the beauty of FM. And from then on, if you want to pivot, it's a lot easier for you to pivot in an organization when you know what makes it tick. So yeah, I agree with that statement 100%.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense, because if you know the facility that you're managing, your chances for progression could be higher due to the knowledge that you have and that you've gained over the years. And obviously that comes with experience as well. I think before we are going to dive into the details of the course as well, for those who are waiting to hear more about that. The purpose of what we're discussing now is just on the career opportunities as well. And I just want to raise to the audience again, please feel free to use the chat if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Neo closer to the end of the session, where we can perhaps offer some more insights that you're not getting from the discussion. Next, Neo, I want to just maybe have some elaboration on industry-specific needs. I understand that a facilities manager has a foundation of responsibilities that they will have to practice across all industries. But are there specific responsibility differences in certain industries, like maybe the educational institutions or hospitality or healthcare? What could differ in terms of the facilities manager when spreading across these industries?
Yeah. And that's also the beauty of FM. Depending on in which industry you work in or which organization you work in, they might not do things exactly the same. And even across the same industry, you might find an FM working at Telkom might do slightly different work than an FM working in Vodacom. But the way to look at this is you look at the industry. What's your core competencies in terms of the industry? If you're in telecoms, if you are in the health sector, like hospitals and clinics. Those are more like data centers. Those are more technical facilities. A lot of energy required, water, hygiene. So those will be then your core functions. I would say that will be your more technical functions. But if you move into a more corporate environment, like the banking sector, and your general corporates that you find in Sandton and Umhlanga, Durban. Those are more soft, I would call them your soft skills that you require from an FM perspective. So you concentrate more on cleaning, more on hygiene services, concierge services, and the like. So that's the beauty of FM. Yeah, you can have two different AFMs working in two different industries or sectors, and they almost do completely different things. I, for one, am in the asset space. And like I said, now I don't no longer look at more the technical aspects from an FM perspective, but more on the financial side of things. So I want to see ratios. I want to see how well our buildings are performing. But the levels lower than me will look at the technical aspects like plant maintenance and the like. So it also differs based on your hierarchy and where you sit in the value chain.
I think what's fantastic about this is that there are many opportunities available in the facilities manager space, regardless if you are in the educational space or the hospitality industry or healthcare. You do get this, I want to say, qualification as well as experience. It can help you with your trajectory towards higher levels as an additional layer on what you're currently doing. So I think of that, from what I'm getting, is that if you have that ambition to become the person who has all the knowledge and information and managerial power of your facility. It doesn't matter if you are in educational, hospitality, or healthcare. The guidance you're going to get from the content of this course specifically can help you on that trajectory for your career. So that's quite exciting. It's got variety and it's got versatility.
Yes, definitely.
Fantastic. All right. So next we can actually start talking about the course structure. And I think that's where you're going to give us quite a lot of insight as well. So let's talk about the facilities manager course that PropAcademy has to offer. Could you give us an overview of the course structure?
All right, perfect. So it's an NQF level 6 program. It's an occupational certificate. I want to state this. The course is quite intense. A lot of my learners, when they started, they thought it was going to be easy. It's not easy because there's honestly a lot of topics that we cover, and back to my definition and some of the competencies, we try and cover all the competencies. So there will be areas that you don't know. I mean, asset management might not be your strongest point. Finance might not be your strongest point. Health and safety, risk management might not be your strongest point, but we do cover those aspects. And then again, because of how broad FM is, you might be an FM manager who's more technical. So you will be exposed to more the strategic, administrative, and soft service type of elements of FM, and that's what we bring on this program. So it's got 7 units. So that's 7 areas that you need to study, and within those seven learner units, there's a combination of knowledge, practical, and workplace evidence. In total, you've got roughly about 34 36 submissions you need to do over the course period. From the PropAcademy side, we do the formative assessment. So you'll be given case studies, scenarios, questions. You need to respond to those, and then myself, I will assess you. And then once you complete all 7 learner units, and we give you a statement of results, we will then assist you to register with a QTCO partner, which is SAFMA, the South African Facilities Management Association, who are the external integrated summative assessment provider. So you would then go write an exam with SAFMA. So it's 2 stages. So you first complete the PropAcademy stage of the 7 learner units, and then you would go then write the SAFMA exam, where you would then be found either competent or not competent, so to speak. And once you pass the SAFMA exam, you would then be issued your SAQA NQF6 FM occupational certificate.
Okay, fantastic. And I can imagine that given the career path opportunities that it has to offer, that it has to be an intense course. So it's good. In a way, it's good to know that as well. Would you say, Neo, that the course is also designed to prepare candidates for real world challenges?
Yeah. No, definitely. So going back to the structure, you've got knowledge, practical, and workplace evidence sections. So basically, your knowledge is more on the theory side, and what we do is we give you a lot of material to really understand and digest the theory. We're not only giving you the textbooks, but we also give you case studies. We also give you journal articles where they really dissect some of the topics that we are covering. Then you've got a practical section where it's more of an application now, where we will say, for instance, now that in the knowledge section we taught you about ratios, financial ratios. Give us examples of financial ratios that you would typically use. And then you will have your workplace evidence section. Now, this is where you need to go back into your workplace and apply the knowledge. So you are then forced to engage your managers and some of your senior guys to say, I've got an assignment to do a budget plan for my facility. I've not done it before, but these are, from a knowledge perspective and a practical perspective, these are some of the items I need to cover. I need to do a real life budget for my facility. So that's where the workplace evidence section comes in. So you leave the course not only understanding the knowledge, but you would have also been having applied it to some extent at your workplace. So then you leave the course not only with an understanding, but with a practical knowledge of how some of these concepts are applied in an actual workplace.
That's actually fantastic news, because how else would you want to be prepared when you walk away from the course? So that's wonderful. Perhaps we can now dive a little bit deeper into the key content areas that are covered in the Facilities Manager course and more or less how they equip learners for success. I do think you've touched quite a bit on the equipping for success. Perhaps we can talk about the specific content areas covered.
Yeah, sure. So we try and cover all the competencies as identified by SAFMA and some of the other national FM associations. So we really dive deep into FM strategy and policy development. So there's a particular focus on how you should position FM within your organizations, and also how to draft some of the key policies and plans associated with FM. We also do touch on leadership and management, because it's one area that's generally overlooked. But as you move up the hierarchy, you need to understand how your influence around your organization has a massive impact on how everyone else then perceives the FM. We then also touch on, like I said, asset management, which is a key component. Asset and management not only talks to a particular building, but to the subcomponents of that building. So we also look at that nut and bolt at the bottom of the chain. We also look at procurement and contract management. Not only how do we procure correctly, but once we have the contractor on site, how do we manage them? So we touch on service level agreements, key performance areas, and key performance indicators, and how to apply some of the punitive measures when it comes to contract management. And I think lastly, what's important, we also cover corporate governance and business continuity. So as an FM professional, it's very important to understand, in the event of a emergency, what is your role? How do you put together the policies and procedures to safeguard the facility and ultimately life on your site?
Thank you so much. Then maybe we can talk about some benefits. Obviously, there are a lot of courses that can help with similar career paths, like especially if you've got in your mind, I want to become the specific manager of a facility or a CEO, if we even looked at it that far. But what would you say are the unique benefits of this particular course, and what sets it apart from other training programs in the industry?
Yeah, look, we are a SACCO accredited institution and SACCO accredited program, so there are others found here and there. But what's so nice about the PropAcademy program, it's honestly an individual orientated program, individualized. Let me put it that way. It's personalized actually. So you can start the program at any given time. There are pre-recorded webinars. The material is made available to you when you register on the platform. So you need to download the material. I'm always available to take questions and assist with any issues. And we do provide a lot of examples, procedures, or processes when we cover certain elements. So, for instance, when it comes to strategy formulation, I will show you an example of what a strategy document looks like, and we'll cover the different components. But also, very important is our program is very research based. So, not only are we giving you material to read, but we also do a lot. We also provide a lot of journal articles from some of the top journals that cover specific topics. So you're getting a book, or you're getting reading material that covers the knowledge. You're getting journal articles that go deep into some of these areas. You're getting case studies. You're also getting templates to use, and then you also have access to myself at any given time when you've got issues. So I think it's very it's individualized program. We understand not all students are the same, so it's also self-paced. So it depends on your working hours and what you're comfortable with taking, and we literally hold your hand throughout the whole journey. And there's no other institution, I think, to my knowledge, that does what we do.
With that, I can agree. Definitely, something that PropAcademy brings to the table is that human touch, that direct support, which I think is invaluable. In terms of skills development, obviously you've mentioned quite a little bit on the course content, the structure. Perhaps we can talk about the critical skills that this course focuses on developing, and some of those skills are quite essential to the career in facilities management. So maybe if you can touch a bit on the critical skills that the course addresses.
Yeah. So I would say I would summarize it and say, let's say I'll give you 4 main points. I think one of the things that we do, or that the critical skills that come out from this program, is you are able to manage clients. You are able to manage your colleagues, staff, and also supplier contracts and agreements. Now when you look at some of those competencies, it's more on leadership and client care and contract management and procurement. But then also you're also able to plan and manage services, support functions required for, let's say, a sustainable business. You're also able to plan and manage the business support systems and processes. That's more on the executive function level. And I think it's important also that you understand that you'll be able to analyze and attend to client needs to sustain and support the core business, which is what FM in a nutshell is. It's really a support function in most respects.
Thank you so much. And I think to conclude the confirmation on the course and the career, and I see we do have a question that we can dive into shortly, but who would you say is the ideal candidate for this course? What kind of background or prior knowledge should they have to maximize their learning and career outcomes? So how would you sketch the ideal candidate?
I think for me, what's important, you need to be in FM or be practicing FM to some extent, because when it comes to the workplace evidence portion, it's very key that then you are able to apply it on the job. So a good understanding or access to FM is important. Obviously, from a technical perspective, you need to either have a senior certificate or an NQF level 4 or equivalent. But yeah, I think the ideal candidate, someone who's already in FM and who's hands-on, and either starting out or experienced, but would want to further gain more information and understanding of the other functions around FM. I think let's leave it at that.
Fantastic. And I think this question actually will also contribute to this discussion we just had. So Charlene Harley is asking, Your opinion on making a mid-career change from an unrelated industry to facilities management. Where would one even start? Because from what Neo said, or what you said, according to your journey, would it be counterintuitive to start from the bottom in order to gain a full understanding? I think, Neo, are you still there? Right, Courtney, perhaps if you can support on this question. I'm not sure if Neo is still with us.
Hello. Shame, it looks like he has frozen a little bit there. I actually think that it would be important to get Neo to comment on this, because I was also interested in order to find out, you know, he said previously that in order to study this NQF level 6, you need to have something to do with FM. You know, if you don't have the opportunity, you know, I would say that if you are a certain level in a company, you wouldn't want to drop down to the bottom in order to learn your way up. So I think this kind of course, main people that purchase it from us are in the FM space, but are looking for a promotion and really looking to better their career. So because it is so diverse, as he explained earlier, you're going to gain so much knowledge, and that just gives you so much opportunity within the FM space. But yes, that's what I've got for you. Colleen, there we go.
I just realized that is one for webinars. I do think Neo perhaps maybe have had an internet dip. It's probably what's happening. He might come back, but if he does not, we are more towards the end of the session, as we did cover all the questions at this point. I think what we could do, maybe just to buy some time for Neo to maybe come back, if you don't mind, maybe elaborate on the process of maybe applying towards PropAcademy, or in terms of the support offered.
Yes, of course, yeah. Of course. And also just, I can see that he is trying to come back through there. But yeah, with regards to the process and how it works with PropAcademy, is that if you qualify for the course, you would simply register and get started. So we don't have enrollment dates. What happens is, as soon as your order is complete and your funds have reflected, then you can get started in the course. As Neo said, you'll have a one-on-one introduction with him, which we call an orientation. You'll systematically go through this 2-year course. You can complete it anything between 11 and 24 months. That depends on how qualified you are. So if you're currently in the space and you're very experienced, then you can do it sooner. So for example, 11 months, but it's done over a 24-month period. Yeah, and I have also put on the website here, I mean, on the chat box, the different learning units, because Neo did mention them, and I wanted you to see what the headings were and what is explained under each of the learning units, which is very important. And you get a total of 262 credits for this qualification. I see Neo has managed to join us, so maybe we can re-ask the question.
Yes. No worries, Neo, thank you. We just took some time to go over to the information about the course, should anyone be interested in, you know, when they can start or not. But I'm going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to reread the question that was raised by Charlene. So she's asking your opinion on making a mid-career change from a career that was unrelated to facilities management. She wants to know, where would one even start? Because from what you said, and according to your journey, would it be counterintuitive to start from the bottom in order to gain a full understanding? What would your advice be here?
Yeah, so I for instance studied construction management. I used to work on construction sites at some point in my life, and then I made the pivot to FM. So, and I know a lot of people. In fact, the majority of people in FM did not study FM as an undergraduate degree. Some come from finance, some come from the technical field, some come from HR. I mean, the list is endless. And all of them just fell in love with what FM does and what it offers, and they pivoted into FM. Obviously, depending on which industry, which organization you're going to move into, you might not necessarily start at the bottom. they might start you at a middle management position where, for instance, you could manage contracts. I mean, contract management and procurement is a key component of FM, and you could be the person, the go-to person when it comes to putting together cleaning services, putting together hygiene services, taking care of concierge services, reception area. It just depends on which industry you're going to move into. I mean, sub services is also the amount of services that can be contracted under FM is also endless. I mean, you've got fleet, you've got travel, you've got pest control, you've got indoor plants, you've got landscaping. Honestly, the list is endless. But then what's key is your managerial experience, your understanding of the organization, and how to manage contracts. Because at the end of the day, that's all it is, to some extent, if you're not going to the technical stream. So it's totally worth it. I can get into that. I know bankers who moved into FM. I know people from the law fraternity moved into FM. I know architects who moved into FM. So that's the beauty of FM. Anyone can do it. You just need to have the passion and the drive to manage very sticky situations, manage very difficult colleagues. But that's it. I mean, it's all about people management to some extent.
I must say that that's more or less what I also took from today's session, which I would say is something new I've learned from the perception of having to start with this as a undergraduate and then progressing into career, where you can layer this on your current experience. Especially if your current experience has a little bit of management responsibility, that can obviously contribute greatly to that. So that's, to me, that's fantastic that that's one of the main career change decisions you can make is to decide, I'm in this space now, but I kind of want to make a change. And facilities manager can help you actually jump onto a trajectory and utilize the skills you've been using for the time period you've been in the career for. So I find that quite valuable. It's very, very good to know.
And just a note, I mean, a lot of positions in FM, what I've seen are pitched at a managerial level. So you don't need to understand how electrical board works. All you need to understand, if it's off, you're going to call a guy, he has to go fix it. And you've got a contract that stipulates what happens if you ask him 2 times and it still doesn't work, what you do to him, So that's contract management. You don't need to understand that you've got a chiller and it's got gas and there's a lot of tubing and you don't have to understand. You don't have to go into that too much detail because there are people who specialize in that aspect. You just need to understand how contracts management work and making sure the contractor delivers based on what your contract says. So there are a lot of positions at more of a middle management level that I've seen, and they also pay decent. I mean, FM is, I think facilities managers get paid decently. It's just depending on which industry you're in, it's also very long working hours because you have to be on call 24/7. If your building is burning down at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're the first person they're going to call. And you're going to have to come and make a plan. So maybe they're also compensating from a salary perspective for you being on call 24/7. But yeah, I think it's a perfect pivot to a new career where you're going to have to understand new things.
Yeah, and where you don't have to start purely from the bottom. You can build up on where you are now.
Correct.
I think we are nearing the end of our session. I just want to encourage our attendees one last time. If you have any questions for Neo, like Charlene had, please feel free to drop them on the chat. But I think as we are also closing, Courtney, do you want to maybe add any closing statements from PropAcademy side?
I just want to thank Neo for his time and his information. Yes, your information is so valuable. So thank you very much. It's what we've had a massive demand in FM at the moment. And I think you have made things so nice and clear for people to understand. And we look forward to helping anybody who's interested in this pathway. Yes, we're here to sell you a course, but we're also here to see you through your career. So let us help you. And just thank you very much to Colleen at CTU for hosting such a great webinar. And if you have further questions, I have popped on the group there, contact us button, which might be easier for you to click on and complete some information. And you can contact us directly. Our details are there. And this recording will also be available on our website shortly.
We're also going to do a bit of a write-up based on the points that Neo shared for those who prefer to maybe read through a little report as well. So for those who've missed the webinar, we're going to make it available to them. And for those who were here today but want to recap, yes, the recording will be made available as well as a write-up as well. So yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. So I think we can conclude our session for today. Also from my side, thank you very much, Neo. I myself also learned a lot about the specific, not just the course, but also the career path, which is exciting for me. And Courtney, thank you to you as well. I would like to encourage everyone, reach out to Courtney or Charlotte. They are fantastic support in terms of getting you sorted and getting you started. And I highly recommend you reach out to them if you have an interest in either just doing the course or, you know, a career change. So yeah, thank you everyone. Hope you have a lovely day, and keep on the lookout for our next webinars. We're going to promote them for, I think we've got another one coming up now in July. We'll keep you posted on this. You should receive notifications. Thank you so much everyone, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you. Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Nero. Bye.
Bye guys.